No scene, straight to the business. So we have here Adriana Conde, our moderator here.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know.
No, those guys are...
Good night?
No,
good
morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It's everybody in the afternoon. They're just 1 hour behind.
Oh, okay. So good afternoon.
So we have here in the screen Professor Jesse Richardson. I'm going to put in order. Professor Jesse Richardson, Jefinho, that Master Professor Maurição had no way to call his name properly, so introduce, Maurição, this is Jesse. Okay, Jeff. Jefinho. Oh, Jefinho. And Maurição that gave him his nickname, Jefinho. World champion Jiu-Jitsu that, came to our team in the early 2000s and went to Brazil, lived in Brazil, speaks some Portuguese. He's wearing the Flamengo shirt proudly there, so you can see the good influence. Hey, Greg, you did it. That's a beautiful job, man.
Yeah, it's my rotation, my screen.
No problem.
I'm setting up my thing. I wanted to use my laptop, but it's not gonna work. So.
No problem. But we already recording you there, and you are the next one I'm gonna present here, Professor Gregg King, straight from Monaco. The content of Monaco, France, to Toronto.
Yeah.
And doing a great job there. Greg is a fighter, he's an instructor, is a very dedicated person. And then was struggling for a while at the beginning there. Now is having fun with Jiu-Jitsu, is loving it. So I remember the times you had some tough times there, man. I can see the improvement. I'm so proud of you. And here, the beautiful couple there. Top couple. It's funny. Your last name is good. Come on. How can you be better than Top?
Yeah.
Jesse Topp and Sarah. From this guy's living in paradise there.
Summer.
Yeah, Port Elgin is amazing. I love it. Since I have been first time there, I fell in love with the sunset there. That was something amazing to see there. And both are new in the group. They came for our team recently, both purple belts, but they have a lot of students and nice history there to tell us the experience. They are reference of organization for our team as well, because they have a background in all the martial arts, and besides that, they have a building. It's like a stadium. I don't know how big it is, but it's a huge building where they offer a lot of different opportunities for people who want to work out beside all the services there. So in Port Elgin, and you cannot find better instructor than those guys provide. So I'm gonna pass to Adriana quick here for her to do the. You see that I put the change the sides for your better view. Names there change. Yeah, Adriana Conde Menezes and Sylvio Behring, so you can see there. See?
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. My name is first in front of yours.
Perfect. Please.
Ask me about our channel.
Okay, that was supposed to be. Hey, what about our channel?
What
How
do you
people do? They have to do to subscribe and be part of it and support us.
Have you guys already subscribed? SBAJJ, all of you. I'm asking for you guys. Professors, the leaders, the teachers here, and your students.
Yeah.
So
how they do it?
Okay, I'm gonna explain. You go to YouTube and you're gonna look for SBAJJ. Then you're gonna find a red button.
Subscribe.
You touch once, just once, because if you touch twice, you unsubscribe. Then you have to touch again, and then like it. So
that's great, so easy. And we learned that with Ian. Ian's always calling me, Dad, you forgot to tell people to subscribe, man. So make sure you make a training there. So we had to talk here. How are we gonna do that? So she had a plan.
I'm learning, right? I'm not a journalist.
Perfect.
Work in progress here.
But we're gonna start right now to talk, and we need to have for all those people to be in the screen. We had first Professor Jesse Richardson coming to our team with the blonde hair, in Toronto. I have, oh, actually, I have a picture of you with the red hair, no, green hair. We had the green hair there. And but he came from Edmonton, Alberta, and to Toronto to train, a fine MMA place to train. and fortunately, you know, he found a cave. So talk about that, man. Talk a little about your experience with us there.
Oh man, it was pretty crazy. I originally came from out west in Alberta, and I started my jiu-jitsu journey with Master Marcus through Carlson Gracie, and I lived out in Vancouver for a little bit to train under him, and I actually ran an affiliation for him in Edmonton, Alberta, and was running a school out there, Carlson Gracie School. And as we all know, Frank Culture, Professor Frankie, is part of the team. Is a very, very close friend of mine. We've known each other since we were probably maybe 7 or 8 years old. So he used to have long hair, ponytail with a trench coat, and he'd just run around and karate kick everybody. That was pretty funny. So I remember escaping and going and staying with him at his parents' place, and his mom would come home all the time. So I'd sleep in the closet. I don't know where that came from, but we did all kinds of stupid stuff over the years. Yeah, anyways, he came out, he was in an event in Alberta, and, you know, I was, you know, searching for something to decide what to do. I had an option to go out and train with Ken Shamrock at the Lion's Den, and that was an option I was looking at. And he said, oh, why don't you come out and train with us in Toronto? And basically, I sold my car, I sold everything I had. I had 2 backpacks full of clothes, and I took a plane. And I've been here ever since. Besides living in Brazil, I've been here the whole time. So I came here and started training. Went down to the dungeon right away. We were in the cave, and it was actually a little bit before I had an opportunity to meet you, Master. It was Professor Pedro was teaching for you under Professor Shaw Franco, and man, these guys were badasses. We had a crazy team back then. I would say probably was one of the top teams for a long time in Canada. Macaquinho was there, and Lofinho, Antonio, Marco Costa. Man, we had killers. It was crazy.
We cannot forget the Shrek, man.
The Shrek for sure. Yeah, all the police officers and ETF guys. Like, man, we had a pretty awesome family. We have a pretty awesome family. I mean, everybody kind of went their separate ways, but they'll always be my brothers in my heart. We shared a lot of blood and sweat and tears, and that was a huge opportunity and a huge state in my life that pretty much molded me to who I am today. You know, to not be scared and take a risk, and find leadership, and you know, and I had some tragic stuff happen in my life previously when I was younger. And, you know, I look to martial arts, and it's always been there for me. And, you know, they say jiu-jitsu saved your life. It did for sure. I'm another experience that I can attest to that. And my whole journey now is to be able to share my experiences, you know, through our family and our team, and hope that I can make changes in a positive manner to other people. So, yeah, so thank you.
So how long jiu-jitsu in your life?
So I got my black belt in 2007. So it's been 13 years now for black belt, and 12 years before that. So it's been 25 years just jiu-jitsu. I've also trained in judo, multiple disciplines of kung fu, Muay Thai. Yeah, I've been doing martial arts since I was 11, and I will age myself. I'm 47 now, so I've been doing it most of my life. And like I said, it's always been there for me. Through a rough childhood, that's always guided me in the right direction, and here we are today. So
beautiful, man. And you have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. Man, you're a boy.
Yeah, actually,
come on.
Yeah,
that boy. Yeah, abusing fitness.
Yeah, I have a 23-year-old son, Chaz, and he's just become a pilot now. And my daughter. Other daughter lives out in Vancouver, Jasmine. She's 11. I have my daughter.
You have another boy. I forgot it.
Yes, my oldest son. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he just became a pilot, and then I have my daughter Jasmine in Vancouver, and then my daughter Aaliyah, which is 6, and we just had our recent boy here, which will be the last one. He's about 8 months now. So, but I'm blessed to be able to have such a beautiful family, even though we're not all together. They're in my heart, so they're all right here, and it's I'm very blessed.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. You know, Gregg King, come on. What about you here? And how you got there? How, you know, tell a little what happened. I know you're posting on Instagram right now what you're saying, and so
I have a second phone.
we call him Instagram. So Instagram, yes, man. He don't lose 1 second. In his demos, he can post his demo while doing the demo on Instagram.
Yeah, it's like the inception, the inception of Jiu-Jitsu. No, like for me, Jiu-Jitsu, it's it came in my life as a surprise, I would say, because I was more into fitness, bodybuilding. I was actually training to get into my first natural competition on stage, and so
you're a bodybuilder.
Sorry?
I don't know you're a bodybuilder, man.
Neither do I.
Before I was 25 pounds more than what I am now, and yeah, and so I go in the gym, and then I see people rolling on the ground. That was 13 years ago, and 13 years ago. And I see what they're doing, and I see small guys. I was with Joseph de los Reyes, who is now also a black belt under Master Behring, and Professor Jesse. I look at them and I, what is this? What are you guys doing? Is this the UFC stuff? And they say, yeah, try it. This is grappling jiu-jitsu. I say, okay. And I'm big, you know, I feel like, you know, I can take the guys. And then he's like, hey, try this technique. Do I do this? Try to do that. I try. It feels very awkward. And then he said, okay, now we're going to do what we call rolling. And I roll. And then he puts me with a guy who's, honestly, I think it was Benham. His name was Benham. And he says, roll with this guy. And I'm probably 185 pounds, like big, you know. I'm feeling confident. And he puts me with the smallest guy. And I got choked, I think, 5 times and 3 arm bars in 3.5 minutes. And I said, but what is this? What is this? I said, I cannot let this guy get me. You know, this is I'm big. How is this so small? This guy's so skinny. How does he make me my body? I feel like I'm crumbling. I'm gonna die. And so, well, we have class every day, and you know, you can come. And then since then, I never find excuses to not go to jiu-jitsu. I went every day. I train every day. It became what I like to say, an addiction to become closer to the perfection. Like I wanted to be really good at it. And since that day, I never stopped jiu-jitsu, never looked to make excuses, never looked to not go train, to not do better, not to be better. And we started on folding mats in a gym, in a dance studio, in a Good Life Fitness gym. From there, everything happened. I got to meet Professor Jesse. That also was another story where I believe things happen for a reason. I say a lot to the students and everybody that I get to talk to about jiu-jitsu, that jiu-jitsu finds you. You don't really, things just happen where you're supposed to, it's a way you're supposed to find, and you just gotta allow yourself to just basically allow yourself to find it, to let it happen, to let it enter your life. Everything in that moment before I met jiu-jitsu, when I was bodybuilding, allowed me to put in my mind that I was looking for a switch. Without or with knowing it, I wasn't sure, but I wasn't ready at that moment to start something new. So I opened my mind and I tried something new, got out of my comfort zone. That's when a lot of things in my life start shifting for a positive. That's why jiu-jitsu changed my life. That's my story. I met Professor Jesse. I was doing some freelance work. Out of nowhere, I meet Lisa, and Professor Jesse goes like, oh yeah, and I see you have cauliflower ear. I said, and he's like, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu. I was like, oh, I do jiu-jitsu too. He's like, what belt are you? I was like, well, I'm a white belt. I do nogi. And he goes, come, we have the jiu-jitsu here. And then he opens in his tattoo shop the curtains, and I like mats. I'm like, what? That was like the whole light came up. I said, oh, so what belt are you? You're like blue belt. It's like, oh man, I'm a black belt. I'm a black belt. And he's like, I was like, oh, like your ear, I can say, you know, like I thought you're wrestling. He's like, no, I do jiu-jitsu. And then from then on, I call it the jiu-jitsu love at first sight. It was like I came that same night, I believe the same night or the night after, I think. And then I never stopped. And then I knew from that time that I had my first instructor, because I trained 9 months, about 9 months with Joseph de los Reyes. And I was looking to start getting grading with the jiu-jitsu kimono, because I was doing nogi. And then I met Jesse and Professor Jesse, and then I knew that I would be my professor for life, you know. And from there, I met Master Sylvio, and the way that Master Sylvio instructs, talks, the charisma on the mats connects with my personality, what I like, and as I knew the first time I met Master Behring during a grading, that this was for sure something that, you know, I feel confident that it will be something I will stick, a group of people I will stick for pretty much the rest of my life. So that's why ups and downs, jiu-jitsu will teach you a lot, but the family, the people that we meet is very crucial in order to be healthy within the group. And we got to know how to go with the ups and downs. And the leadership that we have at Behring is what allowed me to be better for myself, be better for my students, and also be a better student, and to represent also like the team that I wear when I compete, because I love competing. And so this is my story in jiu-jitsu. And then from there, I got to meet a lot of amazing students, a lot of people throughout the world traveling. And some of them are right here, Jesse and Sarah. And I'm so happy that they're here, because I've seen them from white belts. And now what they came, you know, it's amazing. You know, this is, and I through them, I see the story, my story, where from nothing you build up, but it's consistency, nonstop, and you know, like we don't do it alone. Jiu-jitsu is a individual sport, but a team sport at the same time. One doesn't go with the other, because when I'm alone fighting on the mats, I'm with Master Ben, Jesse, Pedro, all the instructors, all my students, all my friends that have me there. So that's why it's for me, jiu-jitsu represents so much, but without the team, we're nothing.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. And you know, I'm gonna ask some questions later. I'm gonna go Jesse Topp now. I'm gonna come back to you for sure. Just take this one. I wanna know and think about that. When did you get the click? And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So Jesse Topp and Sarah, beautiful. It's a beautiful couple there. And not just beautiful couple visually, but your guys are great. You create a great atmosphere around you, a lot of charisma. You know, it's not just coincidence to be successful. You guys are very humble. Always accept the advices. Sometimes I don't know if my approach is exactly the way it should be, but anyways, I know all you guys are so understanding with me. My restrictions about, you know, say exactly the proper English in the right way. Sometimes I'm a little rude when I say some things, but I know that with you guys, I feel very comfortable, because you understand the way my approach. Sometimes I'm not cold, but I'm straight to the point, and that's is part of my
personality.
Yeah, not just my personality is a little naturally. My personality is very, very mild, very, very shy. But my job didn't give me this option. I have to be a leader. You gotta be. Remember 5 attributes. I have to work with wisdom, sincerity, humanity, courage,
transparency,
and demanding. So I'm trying to make sure all of them are being covered during the relationship. But tell us guys, how it happened? Who did go first to meet you guys and brought you guys to us, and all about this journey to become a purple belt? so many students in your group there, and how is your history there, guys?
So just on the teaching style, I personally like that. I like the harshness. I like just give it to me. I don't need to be, hey, good job. I like that, but it's just like, this is the way it needs to be. And I'm being serious. Professor Jesse, I find it's similar. That's how I like to be coached in any sort of situation. Same with Professor Gregg. When we roll, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. I'm cool with that. I like that. That's how I like to be coached. Yeah, so I've always trained martial arts, well, not my whole entire life. A typical Canadian kid. My parents signed me up for hockey. I pled for everything that I didn't want to play, but I had to play. And then by the time I wanted to go into martial arts, but when I turned old enough to get my license and old enough to work, I ended up making my own money and having my own vehicle. I enrolled in martial arts. Was one of the first things I did. I enrolled in like a traditional school, which was kickboxing, self-defense, traditional style jiu-jitsu, and judo. I trained it for like 4 or 5 years until I was in my 20s, and then I went through about 10 years of sort of like a rough patch, just not a good time. Actually, my coach at the time, he's one of my best friends now, but he said, man, if you keep up that life, I'm not teaching anymore. So I ended up, we parted ways, but now we've connected again. He was at our school last year. It was phenomenal. Still my first sensei, and I'm super grateful for it. And then when I was 32, this would be like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I ended up changing my life back to the way I live now, like pretty pure and clean, the best I can. And I started training. So I was about 6 months changing the life, and I started training. All I wanted to do was train back in jiu-jitsu. I went down like a bit of a rough path, and jiu-jitsu actually saved my life physically one day. I don't want to go into it today. It's a pretty like harsh story, but you know what I mean? Like, it didn't leave me. The last time I trained was about 21. I ended up in an altercation in a situation I couldn't get out of at the time, different mindset. And before I knew it, I was on the ground and my legs wrapped around the guy and I had my guard on. But I had been so far out of it for so long, mentally and spiritually and physically, that I couldn't even remember, and this is the truth, I couldn't even remember what guard was, like the fact of wrapping my legs around and controlling distance. When it was all said and done, I remember I went back to where I was staying at the time, and I thought, there was something there. I remember something to do, and it started to like trigger little things that happened when I was younger, before I got a little messed up. And then from that day forward, I just started looking more into jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and talking to anybody I could about it. Ended up, I got back into the public, and then I went down to the first jiu-jitsu school I could find. I talked to the instructor, and this was in Owen Sound, and I said, I want to train. And he says, you got to be 6 months. You got to give me 6 months. I need to know you got your life together. So 6 months to the day, I walked down. I said, okay, I'm here to train. I didn't have a lot of money. I started training in no gi, and we put the gi on a bit. I was getting beat up quite a bit, and I was okay with it. It was like I was just obsessed off the hop. And then I met Sarah. Sarah was into bodybuilding as well, like Professor Gregg. Beautiful and muscles, and took good care of herself. And then she wanted to try jiu-jitsu, and I was so selfish at the time. I said no. I said, I don't want you to come train. This is where I train. This is my thing. It's so childish of me, and I wouldn't let her come for 6 months.
How did you convince him, Sarah?
Yeah, I know. I apologize. And then finally, I was like, after some work on myself with some friends, they made me realize, like, you're being pretty childish and selfish. She wants to try. And now I obviously try to promote it to anybody. So then Sarah started, and then our early dating. You can take over.
So I'll never forget the first time I tried it. Jesse actually took me to see the sensei that he talked about, his very first sensei. And I was working with, I think she was a 17-year-old girl. And at the time I was like in my late 20s. And she had just wrapped me right up. Like, I had no idea. All of a sudden, this girl had me in a chokehold. And I'm like, what's going on? You're 10 years younger than me, and you've got wrapped up in this choke. And I'll never forget Sensei Mike trying to teach me how she did it. And I was getting so frustrated to the point where I was almost in tears. And I said to Jesse, I'm never doing this again. I was done at this point. I didn't want anything to do with it. But that night, I'll never forget, it kept coming back in my head. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't stop thinking about it. And sure enough, I came back to it. I think the next week we started training. Again, it was no gi, and that's history. I've been doing it ever since. We wanted to get into some gi, so we ended up trying another club, and that was a whole new game, getting into gi. We barely train no gi anymore, but I love both. But yeah,
I love
it was
both as well.
great. Yeah.
And then we met Professor Gregg, and so I was competing as a white belt. I loved it. I was obsessed. I had no life responsibilities except for a girlfriend. My job was easy, and I started competing, and I fell in love with it. I loved competing. Like, I loved it. My whole life revolved. And for a year, I competed every month except for 1 month. Sorry, I was injured. I blew my knees out on a back take. And that's where we met Professor Gregg. And Professor Gregg, we became good friends right off the beginning. Gregg was selling clothes, and he was selling clothes there, and we just started talking. You know, when you meet people and you're just like, I know this guy forever. And then it was right around the same time, Sarah says, it's your birthday coming up, and I didn't party or anything anymore. So what do you want to do? And I said, I want to go to Professor Gregg's club where he trains. I want to train Professor Jesse, because I had heard about Professor Jesse in the competition scene. And and then we went there on my birthday, and we just got smashed. And it was good. It was like in a good way, like very good technique, good strength. The problem we were having at the gym we were at was it wasn't enough of like the grind, you know, like that hard training. And we went there. It was just like a Thursday night, and it was on. So from there on forward, we never looked back, and then the path I think was laid out for us. There was not really any other option at that point. Never looked back.
The one thing I'll never forget walking into Matador is how I felt. I was terrified. I almost said to Jesse, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can walk into another club. And there was like maybe 2 or 3 other women there at the time, and they were just like so welcoming, so inviting. Everybody was, and I'll never forget that feeling. I was like, as soon as I walked in there, it just felt like home. It really did.
I remember how I felt when I left.
Yes.
Sore.
Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting because when they get there, they call Matador martial arts. Yeah. Matador is killer.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So Matador, exactly. But Matador is a great name to use in English, but nobody really. So I told Jesse, I cannot use that.
In Brazil, you're going to jail.
In Brazil, maybe but no, in Latin countries with the Spanish language.
Killer, right?
Yeah, that's for the assassin or like something like that. But when you get to the Matador, is a tattoo shop, beautiful tattoo shop, amazing tattoo shop, very well done. Those guys have a very good taste for to make things happen. Him and his wife, man. Lisa is amazing with the work she does there. You see the babies they're making now. They have a factory of beautiful babies. Come on, we decided to do a great work together. I want to see you guys, babies, right very soon. But so you get there and then have that school of a cow school there, then with the horns and everything. It's a bull. So and then you go to the black mats. So for sure, you gotta be scared. And the first hand when you go there as an adult, the kids love it. The environment for the kids, they just love it. They get hooked right there, and I love the place. And I saw the whole improvement. I remember when the first Jesse started to take care of the beaches, the Greg Marsh and the guys there. Actually, I found today I was looking for my files there, and I found the first grading there that you sent me all the information. I want to show the guys here how you were organized at that time. That was back in I don't know late 2000s, but was really well organized. The way he put everybody's pictures and how they were training, and he conducting the grading. Oh, I want this guy to go for one stripe. I want this guy to go for, and just to find the reason he was bringing with a picture of the guy on the side. And so I have a bunch of papers. I found that today.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very good organization there. So it shows that he was always looking to do his best. And then not just that, he went to Brazil. And one of the toughest training ever that I gave there, and he got a gold medal in the blue belt division for the World Cup. It was a great accomplishment there. And we had a very good result that year. It was an amazing result in all the competitions. But very few people know that how important was that title for a blue belt at that time. But most people was a blue belt and purple belt in Canada, you know. And for sure, Professor Franco for me is a genius. You guys know that the way I think. He's a brother for me for always, and he built it. Not I don't say he built it, but he was able, with the work we did together, but the environment he created to raise from inside the talents there on the mats. So it wasn't coincidence. Everybody at that time on the mats has to be a survivor. There's no place for a wimp there. Even the kids that show up there for sign in, you know, small kids, young kids, or shy kids, sign in. Get on the mats, man. I'm sorry. You're going to transform. Boom. Just change the totally concept. But Jesse, Matador is a great, I make this joke here. Matador is a great name. It's a great brand there. And you just rebuild it from the beginning again. I know you restarted again for to have beside the no problem. Let the dogs there. I love the dogs as well. The dogs are nice. But Matador, now you have affiliations, and 2 here that you can count, and a lot more affiliations. I could not bring in Rich, Chris, Eric, and all the guys that you guys have, Sensei Patrick, Barton. I wish I could bring everybody in, but you guys are going to talk about those guys. So Jesse, tell me about first the affiliation and the clubs that you are responsible in Ontario for the whole Sylvio Behring Ontario there. And beside that, the shows that you guys that you are putting on, because you're I can't put it in there. Yeah, no, man, you have great ideas and amazing realization. So come on, it's on you.
Yeah,
Mango.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing was for us in the beginning was, and I agree as well. I'll always call Professor Shaw my professor. I love him very much, and he'll always be a mentor to me. And I think at that time the organization was taking a couple of different angles. There was some stuff that happened that it doesn't matter, neither here nor there. But I know that the people that originally were the core of Behring Jiu-Jitsu were always the most loyal, and that still, that to me was becoming a martial artist from the beginning and having a history of the martial arts. It was important for me to make sure that I didn't lose those attributes and those qualities of being a martial artist first and foremost. So the loyalty, there's a saying that we have that's posted up in the gym, and we have it on all our kimonos, and that I live by, and it's blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family. And I know that through my life and my experiences, that the people that were always loyal to me when things really went sideways, they were really my family. So and those were kind of where I got my family values from, and that has always kind of been instilled in me. So I mean, after everything kind of happened, I still wanted to remain loyal to Professor Shaw because exactly like you said, everything that happened in the dungeon, it was an experience that you can't explain to anybody. You have to have lived it to, get, almost drowned in about a 2 or 3 inch puddle of sweat by Makakino, go through the garage door. There was a lot of crazy stuff happened there. I remember the collection of shoes that we had from all the street fights. We would always steal a shoe from the victim, the opponent. So we had all of that. I'm like, man, and then it was funny because we had so many police officers there, and all the evidence was just right there when you walked in the door. We had some funny stories, but it was always not with bad intention. It was always a situation that we took care of. We were always in the right, doing the right thing, and that was a whole thing for me for martial arts and in my life, just to make sure you do the right thing and everything else will work out. But you know, after that whole thing kind of transpired, I had an opportunity to become to have my own school, and I was actually teaching for somebody at the time, and that didn't work out, and I ended up just actually almost walking away from teaching and just becoming a student because the experience was really bad. He did some bad stuff, and I didn't want that to reflect on me and the person and the martial artist that I am. So we actually, and exactly what Professor Gregg was saying, we had closed down the gym or had left that gym, and I had just opened up a tattoo shop. And I was still training in the back, but originally it was just a tattoo because I'm a tattoo artist as well. I've been doing it for a long time. And then that's when I met Professor Gregg. He actually came into the tattoo shop, and yeah, there's the one that I worked on with Master Sylvio.
You did
yeah, that's his tattoo.
Did you do that?
Yeah, there was original one, and then I did the Brazil flag with the waves and the surfing around it. Yeah, because that was the original one that we redid.
We covered it. Yeah, we covered it.
Yeah, we covered
it. Surrounded.
Yeah, exactly.
I have some tattoos too.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, from there we just kind of my students started to follow me from that gym that I was in, and they said, you know, like, you're a professor. We don't want to learn from anybody else, because the gym that was there, it actually opened up, and we had another a good friend of mine actually teaching a program there. But you know, once you build that, as we all know, you build that relationship with your instructor, your professor. It's a lifelong bond that, you know, you can't. I mean, some people can maybe let it go easier than others, but I think that if somebody has that true spirit of being a martial artist and that dedication, it's more than just dedicating yourself to the physicality of it. It's everything. It's your emotional attachment. It's your mental attachment to it. So I think with me, I had already been building that bond with my students. So I think at that point, I kind of started to feel like that I was moving in the right direction for everything. And then that was it. It was me for a long time by myself. I had always, and I always will for the rest of my life, maintain my loyalty to Master Sylvio and the Behring family. And I remember times that there was only a handful of us, Master, but you would still come all the time to be there for us. And you know, we just kept plugging ahead. Lisa and I, you know, she's a genius when it comes to the business, and you know, she knew how to kind of make the model work. You know, I felt like I was a talent and she was the brains, and she's the beauty too. I'm starting to not look so pretty anymore, but that's okay. She's still beautiful, so it's one out of two is not too bad. Anyways, yeah. So, and then we just started kind of building it from there. Professor Gregg, he had always told me that he wanted to be an instructor and wanted to have his own place, and jiu-jitsu was his life. And you know, we had actually lost Gregg for a little while there. He had to leave the country. And he was gone for a while, and you know what? He was traveling. He was back in Monaco in France. He was over in California, and he had many opportunities because he was training with other teams there that wanted to bring him on because of his talent and his loyalty and dedication. But he always remained loyal to Behring Jiu-Jitsu and myself and Master Sylvio, and you know, that speaks more than words can say. And I think that that's an attribute that we lack a lot in today's society, and I think that those are golden. That's what I want to be known for, and I'm obviously him as well, and I see that with Jesse and Sarah too. So you know, I think that you kind of attract those personalities and those people to you, that you have those attributes around, because with all of the black belts that are under myself, under you, Master Sylvio,
how many do you have right now?
I think we have about I think there's about 12 somewhere in there, 10 or 12 somewhere in there right now. We have a whole bunch more coming. Yeah. But you know, we know it's been a slow process, because all of those guys, or most of those guys, have been with me from the beginning. So, and that's a lot to say. Like, I know you have, you know, all your years of jiu-jitsu, and people that you started from, like Professor Pedro started when he was so young, you know, and you've seen him grow.
Was a kid.
So, and even with myself, with Professor Gregg, and you know, we've you know, a decade, almost 2 decades of experience of our lives together just through jiu-jitsu. So you know, very blessed to be able to have this opportunity to represent the Behring name and represent you in Canada, and have individuals like Jesse and Professor Gregg and all the other black belts that we have in Canada to work together. And it's not a matter of us, you know, actually running the organization or not. I would say, if anything, I'm going to give more of my accolades to Lisa, because we all know in the background she is the one that makes the machine run. I'm just kind of the muscle, the bouncer at the door of the club. So,
go girls!
So
Right,
what's the name of the
Go
event that
girls.
you guys are running?
the event?
Events, yeah.
Well, okay, so originally we had done one about 5 or 6 years ago. It was Ace Fighting Championships, and it was Eddie's Combat Extrema. And we actually sold that business after we did the first couple. We had a partnership with somebody else that didn't go well. And then we actually just started War of Gods. This is 2 years now with War of Gods, and both events have been sold out. It was amazing. And we actually just got lucky because we had our event the week before COVID-19 shut everything down. So we were very blessed to have that just get through. But yeah, we're hoping in the future, you know, once things get up and running again, that we can continue with War of Gods and you know, keep expanding it. So yeah, we have a lot of good ideas. We're very creative. We're a great team. You know, I'm sure just like Sarah and Jesse and Greg and his cat, the same thing, right? They're a great team together. So he didn't get that one.
What's the name of the cat? Come
What's
on,
the name
Greg.
of your cat, Greg?
What's the name of your cat?
My cat, Kiwi.
Huey.
Kiwi, because he was a baby. It was very small and looked like a small kiwi. But I had the other one who passed away last year, and his name was Keiko.
Okay.
So yeah, like
Greg have the Triple V factory. You have a, you know, is it entrepreneur? Entrepreneur, yeah. Like that's the word I was looking for to talk about you guys, all of you guys, entrepreneurs.
I told him, but he didn't believe me.
Yeah, I had to check out.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I talk in English.
I had the little French touch. It makes it better like that.
Yes, it's the accent. Come on, this charming accent, the French charming accent. You speak English a little more like this, huh?
Okay.
The French way. Okay, so we're back because we have a lot of fun together. But so, Greg, man, I know what? I'm watching you in the beginning, and you know that, man. You have the Triple V, and you have your own club, and your own market. That's where one thing we give everybody a chance to have to develop their own trademark, but following the mother mark, which is Sylvio Behring SBA, under boss work that she is doing a great work, and with the team there, the team's amazing. But Greg, what about and not just that, you're also doing interviews. You have you make a lot of stuff happen. So tell a little more about this. And beside that, your fights as well, amazing improvement, and that's about the click I'm asking you. Okay, so first start with your entrepreneur. Yes, okay. And so
like before I started jiu-jitsu, I got out of university, business school in Monte Carlo. I did it because it was important for my parents for me to get an education and to do it. I went through a lot of ups and downs. I was like a rebel in my own way. Not a rebel like I was smoking, doing alcohol, partying and stuff like that. A rebel in the sense that my parents always wanted me to work for a big company, a big bank, and make money, make living, you know, because they said that having a business is hard, you know, and there's ups and downs. Both my parents are architects. They are on their own account, and they've been through a lot more downs than ups. So in a way to try and save us the trouble, you know, they always try to say, you know, get a job, be good at what you're doing, just work for a company and climb your way up and do this and do that. But it's not what I connected myself with. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to do my own things. I wanted to lead by example. I just for me, sitting at a desk or doing something for somebody else doesn't make sense. So when I got back to Canada, I was always visiting back and forth because I have family from my dad's side that's in Toronto. So I was always coming for holidays, and I was traveling back and forth. And I said, you know what? When I'm done school, I wanna come here and I want to try the American Canadian dream. So why didn't I go to the States? Because I tried to go to New York, but with the green card, all the paperwork, everything is really, really hard to get into. And I said, you know what? Actually, Canada is better because I got the best of both worlds. I got like a European style living. The country's clean, great people, mentality, more Europeanized, and the same kind of opportunity that you would have in the US. Because at that time as well, in 2007, 2008, was very hard in France to start your own business. I wanted to start, as I said, I was in fitness. I wanted to start a gym, and like a personal gym with a friend of mine. And then we're trying to open something, we're looking at places around, trying to get a loan, trying to do this, because my parents, this is the thing, my parents never invested or gave me $1 for my businesses or anything as an investment, because they were against me opening a business to do my own thing. So basically I said, you know what, I'm going to do something on my own. I tried to do it with a friend. We tried to get a loan, this and that. And they were like, banks were like, no, we can't do this, even though we did the business plans and whatnot. So then after that, a few months later, I decided to go to Canada and try something there. And, you know, like things didn't work. I had a lot of savings that I had from university because I owned a cafeteria in university. That's another story. But I got to build my own cafeteria, sell coffees at university, save some money. That's how I started with the initial investment. Then I started a business. It crashed. I tried to invest with a friend of mine that I knew from Monaco that was living in California. We were to try an import-export business with Canada, the US, this and that. Didn't work. He ended up stealing my money and stuff. And that's when, at the same time all of this happened, I met Jiu-Jitsu. When I met Jiu-Jitsu and Jiu-Jitsu met me, and the people that I met with Jiu-Jitsu, I said, you know, I want to start a Jiu-Jitsu company because it's something that I'm passionate. I know from day one, I knew after the first training session that when I walked from the gym, which was across the street where I lived, I remember walking still in my nogi gear that I just bought off like I think it was eBay or something like that. Everything was starting. And I said, I will become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. This is my life. After the very first training, I said, I will go. And I knew the first day. So then I started thinking about businesses. That's when I got the idea of Grapplers Planet and then the clothing company, because there was only one clothing company in Canada that was doing kimonos, jiu-jitsu gis, rash guards, and all that stuff. And I said, okay, this is still growing. This is starting. So I wanna see if I can start doing something into that. And I looked at jiu-jitsu. I couldn't find anything online. There was very, very few that was out there. I'm not gonna cite names. But I said, you know what? I want to think about something. Okay, what is it? And then that's how I came up with the name Grapplers Planet, because it's like grappler is a general name for everything: judo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So I was like, that's more of the common, the umbrella name, instead of specializing just in jiu-jitsu. And then Planet, because we're all part of a planet, it's a community. And then I also wanted to start a clothing company, and I'm big in Latin words. And so when I started the company, I was looking for a name that would be original, at the same time meaningful. I want to have a name that I can connect and other people can connect. And when you give them the name, they understand the meaning. So sometimes I have to explain it because it's in Latin, other people understand it, but it was Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. And that was the whole motto of everything in jiu-jitsu, in my life and the life of others that start, because you come, you see, and you conquer. You conquer so many things. Like you conquer your fears, you conquer competition, you conquer yourself every day. There's a lot of things that go into it. So it was not just a name. So we did that for a lot of years, and I did that with a partner who, because I went through all these ups and downs, said, you know what, I'm going to give you the money to invest. You're going to put some of your money, what's left, but you will do the designs, the ideas. I pretty much did all the work, all the public relations. I did everything. All he did was put initial investment, and then he was starting to help me out with some stuff when I needed. But I pretty much ran those companies on my own for the first very few years, you know, until we build it. And like it all happened because of the people I met, of the group. What I knew, everything happened at the same time, but I knew that I wanted to do, you know, like business from the day one, and jiu-jitsu allowed me to pretty much fulfill my dreams on a different level. It's a hard business to get into because it's such a small world. It's very, very hard, and it's a beautiful business. I loved it, but it was very, very hard, very, very hard. And it was a lot of work to go to events, traveling, and whatnot. So lots of ups and downs, but you know, like, it's something that I love, and I look at from now, from all the years that passed, that, you know, like, I earn a lot more than money did in a lot of different ways. But I stopped that company. I got out of it because me and my partner switched ideas, and I was feeling that I was disconnecting from what I initially started it. He wanted to take it on a different level. I wanted to go here. So from that point, we decided to part ways. And that's when now I started focusing on my own business with nobody around. I work with people, but now it's my own business, King Jiu-Jitsu. So I started teaching I was one of the first in Canada blue belts. Thank you to Professor Jesse for believing in me with the program at United Martial Arts Canada, UMAC. And I was one of the very first to have an actual legit program to teach in Jiu-Jitsu. It was my program. That was about 9 years ago. And I'm very proud of that because I loved it. It was just amazing, the process.
Okay, just one second. Just interrupt you for just 1 second. A good question is coming to my mind. Yeah. How many places are you teaching right now? How many places do you have under your instruction right now?
So I have 2 places, Scarborough and Thornhill. The Thornhill is the new location. Scarborough is the first location that we had about 3 years ago. And I would say that I have about, it goes ups and down, but it goes between 70 to 45 regular students.
Okay, and then very few people know that Scarborough is a very tough neighborhood in Toronto. Huh?
Very, very tough, because in the small area, there's so many gyms. So it's very hard. It's very hard to make a. People have to know. They have to see you. They have to hear from you. It's very hard. It's a very small place and a lot of gyms around. The competition is really tough there.
Yes, but they are competing against Gregg King, my friend. And King Jiu-Jitsu is a very strong name, huh?
Thank you.
Matador and Behring, come on, we have a. That's the kind of backup everybody's looking for. And Jesse Topp also there in Port Elgin, man. You guys, Topp Perfomance was already a good name there when we guys found Matador and SPA. And for sure, you guys have been very, very constant participating with us. You know, the staff loves you guys. Every time you guys have a chance, you are in and talking and asking questions. Very humble, always planning ahead a lot. You know, I think was one of the first groups that I put it on. You know, the program on internet for your students when it got locked down. You're already prepared for that. So it's to be in that level of you know, adaptation. Now I'm saying to the groups, I'm everywhere. I have a chance to talk to my instructors. Say, guys, now I gotta see who is instructor. We're born to be instructor because it's easy to be instructor. You're going to have the mats on you. And, okay, don't have the mats and you have to find a way to keep being the professor. What are you going to do? And I see a lot of very good instructors. They had no move. They had no proactivity whatsoever. But you guys were the first on the group, I think. Jess, that's true. That was the first of the group to do that, to start this. Okay, so how was that? How was this mindset? You guys are making, courses, or you go through, studying, or proactivity natural? How that works?
I thank you for the compliments. Just it was the point of like, I believe we both believe so much in what we're doing, both with jiu-jitsu, and then we have CrossFit and all of the fitness gamut that, like Professor Jesse has said to me before, it's like you have that warrior, like fighter kind of spirit. There was no way when I knew for sure that we were closing that I was going to just like take it on the 5th round laying down. Like I just immediately tried to, like, I used the term like pivot, like a wrestler pivoting on his front foot. Like if this isn't what we can take right now head on, I'm going to find another angle. And Zoom just seemed to work and fit the bill, and just to like deliver to the community to show them that we care was our first big thing. And obviously I'm not the best with softwares and stuff, so trying to figure it out, Sarah and I both trying to figure it out, that explains it. Like just kind of staying on my toes, just like in martial arts, like just kind of like staying moving and trying stuff. And if it fails, not letting my ego get the best of me. It's tough sometimes to like accept failure, but if it fails, no problem, and then on to the next. There was like the online classes worked right away, but there was a few things in the background that weren't working. So it worked. It worked good for us. It still is. Getting lots of kids.
Yeah, I loved it.
A lot of people were fearful when this whole thing happened, our community included, even though we're kind of in a bubble here. So it wasn't as big of an issue here, but people were scared and they weren't sure what was going to happen with this whole thing. So Jesse and my idea too was to put ourselves out there as leaders. Like, if this is happening, this is what we're going to do about it. And we're still here for you. We're still a gym. We're still going to be a gym when all this is done, but just to kind of guide them. So that's why we started doing like Facebook Lives every Monday and giving some information out for free, just to make people feel a little bit safer, a little bit more comfortable going through this. Because even myself, like I was a little bit nervous when this whole thing went down too. And then just over time, just telling myself, you know what, you have information, you have knowledge, people are looking up to you for support and to be a leader in this community. So you kind of have to put yourself in that position and push your fear to the side a little bit. And something as simple as messaging our members and just saying, look, how's everybody doing? How are you feeling? What are you doing to stay busy? And just knowing that they know that you're going through kind of the same emotions and that you're there for them.
Yeah, that's crazy because, Jesse Richardson, my friend, that theme. You know what? I don't know if you guys, any one of you actually, for this answer here, is anybody that under you that showing signs of depression or that need some talk for to keep motivate to live, or any problem there you guys saw?
Well, not really for our students. It's funny, and I'm just gonna reflect back a little bit, Master, with what Jesse and Sarah were saying. And it was funny because Jesse had called me and we had a conversation.
He is that.
Hi. How are you?
We had a conversation in the beginning about the whole dealing with the COVID thing, and how are we going to survive? And I think obviously we were all taken back by our situation and everything, and it was funny. And just to let Jesse and Sarah know, even though we had that initial conversation, from an outside perspective, like myself, and always kind of watching over you guys and watching over everybody, your reflection that shows it's not about self-preservation. It doesn't reflect through what I see or what anybody else sees that I've talked about, that it's about self-preservation and about making your business survive. It's about doing exactly what you said. You guys are both leaders and you're role models in your community and even outside of your community. And you just did what you knew was right and what you felt was right. And it's just a consequence of your business is going to survive because it's a consequence of the people that you are and the reasons that you're doing what you do, right? So just to let you guys know, looking from the outside, because I'm trying to watch over everybody to see how everybody is and all the other professors are doing, and that's a reflection that I see, that the consequence is going to be to survive your business 110%, but is going to be tenfold a reward of what you guys have set an example of as martial artists and leaders in your community. So I applaud you guys. It's been amazing to watch, and you always know that you have support from all over the world. So I think that enables us all to have that courage, that a little bit extra as being leaders and people looking up to us. Sometimes we have to look to somebody, like, who do we look to, right? And having these conversations, and even the SBA conversations that we have bi-weekly, those are so powerful for all of us, being the leaders to so many people, and in the eyes of so many people that we have somebody to reflect back on. So it was amazing to see that. So, and here now is our Brazilian time here.
I have baby and I have like 1,000 things to do. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know.
The cutest baby in the world. Come on.
Oh my God, I didn't even put makeup on today. Like, my life is like upside down now. Okay. I don't even know what day it is.
Yes, our life.
But you're looking great. You're looking great, and the kids are looking great as well. Yeah. It's crazy times. It's funny because not when you talk about the professor, you're gonna show who is a professor right now. You're gonna show who's a real couple right now as well. To live in a quarantine is not easy to have all the
Yeah. Really hard.
It's pretty hard. So.
She's lucky she doesn't put on a gi, because I would show.
but yeah, when you marry her, you got into the familia. So the familia, man.
You're gonna bring him to Sicily and show him what it's about over there.
You bring Sicily to Bolton. Sicily's in Bolton. Come on. Oh, and I tell Jesse, sometimes I say, man, you made me know all cities around Toronto, Bolton, Brampton, Guelph, everywhere.
What's she tell?
Yeah, Lisa Bellone.
No, I know this. Her name is
yeah.
Did you
Sicilian, the boots.
Well, my dad's Sicilian and my mom is from Rome, so I got some calm in me and some crazy in me.
So during COVID, she's Sicilian. I'll just say that. That's all I'll say.
So just open your eyes, watch your back. She's dangerous.
No, Liz is the best, because we are the same. We love each other, and when we are mad, we have very few words. But this is best, because she knows me, I know her, so we're perfect. Some people get scared with Liz. No, come on, relax, man. She's Italian.
I still don't understand why.
Yeah, no, come on. Come on. No, it's funny because they're not prepared to understand. Empathy is the key for a deal with business. So if you don't put yourself in someone else's shoes, you cannot understand. That's what happened when they deal with you. They cannot find themselves in your shoes. So. To understand that's a little harder. I always, because I know what Sun Tzu says. That's the Sun Tzu part. If you don't know yourself, but you know your enemy or your position, you have 50% of chance to succeed. If you know yourself but don't know your opponent or enemy or the position, you still have 50% of chance. If you know yourself and know the other person, you have a chance for 100% to succeed. But then comes to another thing. But if you don't know yourself, don't know your opponent, you have no chance. But and then comes to another one. Even if you know the way to the victory, doesn't mean that you're going to win. So when we know each other, and it's easier, because then we can put ourselves on both sides, both ways. If they don't know you, that's why it's so hard for some people. They don't know, they cannot understand, cannot read your way to be. It's hard for them to have this interaction. So
yeah,
I believe exactly what it is.
A lot of people don't get me, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. So
and you know what? And it's funny because if we don't get each other for a while, we're gonna go right there. Boom! I say, okay, no, come on, pull the brakes. Okay, let's talk again. And that's because we love each other. That's exactly what you guys make me feel like always a part of the family. And I love your family as well. Your brother is a brother for me. He's a great guy. Your mother, everyone there is so great. And for me, it's my second home. Guys, Canada is my second home. I'm not gonna say Winnipeg my second home, but I say Canada is my second home, and I love it. I love to be there every time. And we just miss it for a couple of days. Imagine, and I'm glad it didn't work because I would be locked down there. You got to feed me every day. Imagine that.
Oh
you have to feed me every day.
You come home fat because my mother.
Yeah, I'm here with here is Elder's house. My partner in appropriate behavior progressive management. This is his house. This is studios for his kids. They're musicians. So we spent the day here. We came here for breakfast, lunch, and then we're gonna have, a quick dinner. And after here, we have here since 9 o'clock in the morning. We had three videos like that in one class from 2 to 3. So it's all day long here. Here is exactly 5:15. It's just we still have 5 minutes for us to go through here. So we're gonna use this 5 minutes now for considerations. I think we
just
really...
let me say that I'm really happy to see you girls, because it's just men since morning. I'm happy that I'm not the only woman anymore in the room. And
you know what I suggest here?
Thanks.
You know what you should do?
What?
You should do one, just you interview the girls.
Good.
Good idea.
I'm just gonna take over, just so you know.
Are you in, girls?
What's that?
Let's talk bad about this.
Yeah, it's a suggestion for you girls. You set it up, and you have
Good.
Good
It's a
idea.
great idea.
The housewives of jiu-jitsu.
I had this idea before that we actually talk about that in interview just the wives. Let's interview the wives. I don't want to talk to the fighters. Call their wives and talk to them about the guys. Then they're gonna tell exactly what it is.
Good idea.
But Greg,
I'm sure.
come on, Greg. Where's your cat to talk to us, Greg?
He's sleeping and he's taking notes. He's taking notes about jiu-jitsu, how to try and choke me and scratch me in the night.
So let's make the considerations here. We're gonna start different way. We're gonna start back there to the top couple. Say, guys, to end this conversation now, it was great to talk to you guys, but last consideration from you guys.
What do you got?
We're just happy to be a part of what you guys are making. We love where the direction's headed. For us at the gym, it's like I always try to bring our staff together to make sure my vision's aligned with everybody's, and if theirs doesn't align with mine, how do we make sure it does? Stuff like this, I think helps, and I love the way the direction's going. I think it's great. We're excited. We're in. So thank you for what you're doing. Thanks. Keep leading, guys.
To my ears.
Yes,
Thank you.
And you guys, even if you're not black belts, you guys came in the team as reference of organization, as a teamwork. So that's a great thing. And you guys are very humble to understand the ranking position, the hierarchy, and then always proactive and putting yourself available to help us. So thank you very much to be always there for us. Gregorio.
So I like to talk. I'm excited to see you guys. So sometimes I talk too much. So I'm going to try and keep it short this time. But I'm very passionate about everything jiu-jitsu. I'm passionate about the team. The people that are here are you guys are very, very important to me. So to close this, that's what I'm trying to give to my students, whoever I get to talk to about jiu-jitsu and whoever I meet in my daily life, is to share that passion, and maybe that can change their life too. But my number one thing, and the same thing, competition or teaching or anything that I do, and what I tell the students to take to their house every day, as a few things. But one is that consistency is key. Without consistency or endurance, you don't go anywhere. So you got to go through the good, the bad. You got to keep going. The other one is like, never take things for granted. Like with this COVID, this is what I tell every time I bow in and bow out with my students. I say, never take this for granted. So we always take 2 seconds to be thankful for the moment, because as you can see now, and my students came back to me and said that they understand now what I meant, is that it all goes. And that's something I firmly believe, that if you make an effort of being aware that every situation can be gone anytime soon, you will start enjoying life on a different level. So consistency, just understanding that life is very important in many different ways and forms, and never take it for granted, and be thankful. And like, that's why I'm thankful for being part of this family. And yeah, just live life and just do the best with it, And I'm thankful to have so much amazing people in my life like you guys. And thank you for giving me the time also to talk. And I needed this talk and to see you guys. Can't wait till I can give you guys a hug, and see you very soon.
And see you on Tuesday. Don't forget it. We have a meeting on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
4 p.m. Your time, 2 p.m. here. We have Tuesday meeting.
Greg, you have your cat, but you can count on me and the SPA crew too, okay? So if you need something, just call or send a message.
Why you do this to me, Professor Jesse? Why you do this to me all the time?
That's bullying.
Yeah, it bullies me all the time. It's okay.
I'm gonna send you a flamenco shirt. Then you're gonna be no, come on. Okay. Everybody has to have a flamenco shirt there. We're gonna bring some for you guys there. Thank you, Greg. Oh, this is a beautiful one there. Okay.
Beautiful. I don't have this one.
I represent Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, is that? It's funny. When you go now to Jesse Richardson and Lisa Bellone, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but when Jesse was saying Behring, he said Behring in Portuguese. He never say Behring in English. He don't put an accent in English. That's something that is very few people can notice the detail of the meaning of that, which is for me, the way I admire that a lot, because that's my name. My name actually is Behring, because Behring is not Brazilian, it's not Portuguese for sure. It's from Europe, but I'm from Brazil, and the way we say it here is Behring. So when he spelled the name exactly the way we do in our accent, sounds really good. So thank you very much, brother. Yes. And so you and Lisa, you guys, please.
Yeah, she's not a woman of very many words. It's a Sicilian again. She just looks at me. Yeah, no, you know what?
You're holding her hands. Let her hands free. She talk. Change the hands talk.
Oh, I know. Like trying to tattoo in Italian is the hardest thing in the world, because they're like, oh, no. Yeah, you just tie their hands down and they don't say a word.
Can't talk without their hands, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Just as always, thank you for everything, and we continue to just keep moving forward and living the dream and sharing our aspirations with everybody, and watching everybody grow, and watching ourselves grow and our family, and it's been an amazing experience. Even though as horrible as the whole COVID thing has happened throughout the world, I think that there are so many positive things that came from it, I think that's what everybody needs to focus on, and that's, to me, that's what I always try to be, as optimistic as possible, and take the best things out of life, because there's a lot of bad things out there. Like you said, enjoy what it is, but prepare for the worst, right? But you don't have to live in that moment. So, be prepared, but don't live that way. And you know, I see I'm very proud of Professor Gregg and Jesse and Sarah and all the other black belts out there, and even all the students going through it. I get messages on a daily basis from my students on how much they miss jiu-jitsu and how much you know, they miss the family and being together and everything. And you know, that's tough to get that, to be on that end of that and not be able to provide something for them when you know it's right at your hands. But you know, everybody again just has to instill patience, and I think exactly like what I tell everybody, you know, if you can survive doing jiu-jitsu and the pressure and everything that we go through jiu-jitsu, then again, like I tell all my students, it will reflect throughout your whole life. So I see everybody being strong and being, everybody's going to be good. So thank you very much for everything, guys.
Well, anyone that's not real is going to be filtered out. So after this, we've already filtered out a few things. A few people in our lives. And we haven't done it. It happened on its own. So
yes,
for every bad, there's something good for it, right? So.
Yeah, I'm just scared about the lockdown because you know, Jesse was saying that it was the last baby.
Yeah.
There you go with the hand gesture again.
Yeah, I know. But when she does the hand gesture and no words come out, then I gotta run. That's
is that why you go in the jacuzzi all the time, like 3 times a day?
Jacuzzi time. Oh, man, the best is being jacuzzi. Adriana.
It was a really, really good meeting. It was an honor to be with you guys. You're family to me now.
Oh,
so I'm really happy to see you, to hear you, to be close to you. So thank you. Thank you a lot.
Of course.